Hey there, legendary souls. So, our new moon in Gemini was last night, Sunday, June 14th at 9:53 p.m. Central Time. And our new moon transited our collective sixth house of daily routines, habits, and wellness. While our new moon in Gemini isn't in direct conversation with any of the major players transiting in the stars at this time, there are three main themes that stick out to me that I want to talk about. It's your self-concept, your self-worth, and your self-love. So any of these three could actually be rolled into one because they all intersect. They all touch one another. They all impact one another. But for the purposes of our conversation today, we're going to talk about them as three distinct themes. So first, our self-concept. Uranus is in the early degrees of Gemini, and it is changing how we think about everything, and it's doing it quickly. Uranus in Gemini is trining Pluto, which is retrograding through Aquarius, and we're having these insights about how what we do every day changes how we feel about ourselves. So Pluto retrograde is showing us where and how we are actually self-sabotaging, where the energy that we are putting in, the things that we are investing in, might be undermining ourselves. This is, for example, through speaking harshly, judgmentally, or critically towards ourselves, maybe every time we look in the mirror. So then when we go to put on our clothes, we don't feel attractive. So we're starting to see how there are ways that we are creating that within ourselves, or maintaining that, or exacerbating that. Sometimes we don't really see where it starts, right? And it takes a practice of noticing and of being curious. Gemini is all about curiosity. And Aquarius wants to know deeply, and wants to know profoundly. So things like scrolling through social media and seeing the people that you follow, seeing what comes up in your timeline, and noticing who feels like aspirational figures. The people that have the tangible manifestations of the lives that we want, the money that we want to have, the bodies, the hair that we want, is actually making us feel worse if that's all we're looking through, if that's all we're taking in. Because it creates this chasm between where we are today and where we want to be. And manifestation is not about focusing on the absence of what is. It's not about focusing on the lack of what we desire. Conversely, if we are noticing that we're taking up a practice of meditating, whether guided affirmations, or we are writing our affirmations or scripting them, we're doing subliminal messages while we sleep, we're starting to notice that we're feeling a little bit better about ourselves, or we're catching ourselves in real time when we start to speak critically, or when we start to think that we can't do something or that we lack something. And this is helping our manifestation, us manifesting a deeper self-worth, a clearer self-concept. Because one of the things about manifestation is that our feelings are a part of the equation. So one of the things that it teaches is whether we have the tangible outcomes, whether we have the car, whether we have the home, whether we have the savings, the expensive trips, the money to do with as we please, the beautiful hair, the flat tummies, or the amazing abs, or the bootylicious backsides, or whether we have none of it, how we feel about these desires remains important. Gemini is all about the mind. So these practices like affirmations, scripting, subliminals, guided meditations, they can support us in cultivating the mindset that contributes to a stronger self-worth. So our task is to find what works for us. That instead of trying to map somebody else's prescription of how to be onto our own lives. We are meant to find the things that speak to our souls, the things that light us up, the things that we're excited about or interested in trying, the things that we're curious to put into practice, to make it something bite-sized, to turn it into a micro habit, to take a small step today with Saturn and Neptune and Aries. Everything we're doing, the fire horse here, do it today, don't wait. And then to see, can we do it again tomorrow, or can we do it again next week? We are in the realm of recognizing the unrealistic standards that we have been sold. And we're starting to believe that there's more to the world, if we didn't already know. We're starting to believe on a much deeper level of our subconscious, of the collective unconscious. And committing to a sustainable process or practice again and again is actually how we experience transformation over time. So, second, we're talking about self-concept now. I know I said self-concept before, but I really meant self-worth. So 2, self-concept. Uranus is sextiling Neptune in Aries. So it's giving our self-concept a zhuzh. It's boosting it. Not only are we thinking about how to divest further from the systems that keep us running on the hamster wheels and the things that are keeping us feeling not as joyful about the miracle that we are in these bodies that we have, we're also starting to see the world through a new lens. This is even through recognizing how abundantly fear is running in our world, how much there is to grieve, how much there is that's being lost, how much there is that's changing so quickly and so in such disorienting ways. We are so much more as a society, as a collective humanity, we are so much more aware of how much violence and oppression and discrimination and pain there is the whole world over. We are recognizing that we're being inundated by it in our communities, in our families, in our political systems. It's everywhere. It feels at this point that no place is untouched by the pain and the violence and the oppression that is happening in the world. Concurrently, because many things can be true or present at the same time, concurrently, there is also this deep reverence for childlike wonder that is being nourished. Both Aries and Gemini are considered children in the zodiacal archetypes. And when I think about the wars, the famine, the genocide around the world currently and historically, sometimes I like to think about the children that survive in these times and circumstances. And I think about how they must play, because children play. It's like a function of being a kid. Wherever you are, at whatever time you exist in, whatever your circumstances, whatever your context, kids find a way to play. Whether they're in their imaginations, because that's the only space they have, whether it's with a plastic bag, because that's the only resource they have, whether it's with a stick in the dirt, because that's the thing that they could find, or whether it's with a friend. Play for us is becoming a survival strategy, just like the kids who have existed and who currently exist and survive in horrific circumstances. Play is how we're getting from one day to the next while feeling embodied, while feeling whole. It's becoming more of a necessity, and it's becoming less of a privilege, because we're discovering that it can be accessible to anyone. Now finally, let's talk about your self-love journey. Uranus in Gemini is also sextiling Venus in Leo. And Venus in Leo is giving intimacy for intimacy's sake. Like, it is asking, how can we be more loving and more accepting of ourselves as we are right now, today, in the present moment? The short answer is to be in our bodies and to embody our inner children, to get outside, to shake our booties on the dance floor or around the kitchen, and to add a sense of play to the everyday, or to intentionally create time for leisure, to intentionally create time to wander. Where is your inner child asking you to indulge in more ease or more creativity, more leisure or more wonder? This reminds me of a moment that I had this morning in a yoga class. So I was in yoga this morning, and as I was moving into a balancing pose, and I found my drishti, or my non-moving gaze, my eyes were drawn across, from the studio that I was in, into a person's apartment. It was directly across from me. And as I looked, and as I stared, as I was balancing, I saw the legs of a person that I may never meet. And I saw their legs stretch. And I saw their legs turn. And I realized as I was looking, this person is laying in their bed. Whether they're asleep or whether they're just resting, they are laying in their bed. And I couldn't help but smile, just knowing that this person was resting well, that they were taking their time on a Monday morning, and there was nowhere that they needed to rush to. Let this be a reminder to you. There is no rush. The rush that we are feeling, the urgency that we are experiencing, in part is an illusion. This new moon and this week is about finding and indulging in the beauty of the present moment. So however you choose to cultivate that, know that it will add to your self-concept, your self-worth, and your self-love. Until soon, take really good care of you, and I'll catch you in the future. Bye.